Hey, look at that. I actually started stream on time. That never happens. Then again, I don't really have a time to start streaming, so, you know, that doesn't matter too much, but I set like a time in advance that I would start streaming, and then that actually happened. Here, let me get Twitch chat actually up and change the name retroactively of this stream. Selling my soul to Rust. There we go. Now the Twitch stream name is accurate. As you can tell by my new appearance, we've fully joined the cult. Fully. Mind and soul. Alright, so what are we going to be doing today? As might be very, very apparent, today we're rewriting it in Rust. And by it, I mean my coding language. And I think to start off, what was it in originally? Well, it still is in C++. But the interesting thing that you'll notice is, like, here on the first page, I'm using variants and like results and option types, and I was essentially coding in Rust, but in C++ already. So this is just like fully like accepting my fate and being like, okay, we'll just fully put it in Rust. Why is... oh, that's DAP terminal? There we go. Now that finally closed. But yeah, so it's in C++ currently, and what I want to do is I want to merge what I currently have to main, because it was almost working. So I want that... ooh, I still have hand tracking bindings on right now. There we go. So we're gonna go to Brane script here. I've already done... so right now the way I have it working is I had main 1.0, and now we have like the main. This is like the first version of the language here, and this is like fully working. Except for the type system was making it really hard to get working any further. So we're changing it. Well, I did change it to this, which I almost got working again. But now, like, so much of the way that I'm coding the language is Rust-like, so before getting it fully working, I'm just going to bite the bullet and rewrite the couple thousand lines of code I have in here into Rust. And that actually is going to make this project a lot easier in a lot of ways, because it makes the whole build pipeline easier, it just makes a lot of things easier. I can see a potential bit of trouble with currently come on, there we go. I have like these dependencies here. We don't need Brane utilities because Brane utilities was emulating Rust types, and that's most of what that was doing. But then this tree stutter Brane script package here. This technically can... Oh, interesting. It actually has a cargo file. Lib bindings rust librs. That I deleted that. Now the thing is, I did have some workarounds here to make working with tree sitter easier. Specifically this parser enums thing. Let's see what's in here. So we have the actual bindings, we have build. So we have a Rust package already in this repo we can link to. Problem is, I want the enums as well, so I might have to change up this extract enums script to generate Rust enums instead. We're going to turn them into crabs. All of them will be crabs. Can you not see the love of the crab in my eyes? Node types. Interesting. So this is taking all of the node types and putting them here. Just doing some coding while waiting on the campers to show up. You know, it's just, you know, religious rituals. With the crab. Alright, I'll work with this. I will probably rename stuff. Actually, I want to see how the bindings are, because I don't know. We'll see how type safe Presitter ends up being inside of the actual Rust bindings. That's my one concern. And also how to actually include this in the project. I might have to get submodule it again. Maybe. Unless cargo has like a git fetch. But that's beside the point. What I wanted to determine right now is what to do with the current branch. So I have this branch, add modules, which has turned into, this is the working branch that I was on. And I think we merged the not totally working yet, but really close. I think we merged that in, and then convert what we currently have. So I think we'll rebase what I currently have onto main, and just call it like Rustify. Because I think the only change I've made is to the intermediate representation. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I can redo that really fast, and that's fine. Call this LLVM implemented. And I'm not going to run tests because there are none that would work. So now we just need to if I do git rebase and then origin main, will it rebase my current branch onto origin main? I think it will. Actually, since I can redo these changes, what I'm gonna do is I can't cancel this, can I? Usually in the tool you'd press escape to cancel, but yeah. So we'll just go, not lazy gin, lazy gits. And then we're gonna discard all changes to this because I could redo those. Like we're redoing it all in Rust. Like those don't even matter. Those are getting turned into an enum. And then we're going to git check out main. Hold to latest. Oh dang, backend's got all of the swap files got put in there. I need to add that to the git ignore or something. But just do git which create no, it's not rust or bust, it's rust and bust. Get it right. Git switch we'll just call it rustify. Or actually, how do you spell oxidize? Okay, I have consulted the Google. It is oxidize. New branch has been created. Let the oxidation begin. All right, and to begin, What should I won't need the ceiling format, the ceiling tidy. I will need the get ignore and get modules. We will need to edit the get ignore to be a Rust version of the get ignore, but we won't need the cmake lists. And Rust generates its own documentation, so better clickbait would be I have to rewrite my project in Rust, or I wasted $4,000. I haven't paid for it yet. That comes later. That's like when I have a month till the deadline and we're 3 months of work out still. Dang, I don't want to just start like nuke deleting stuff, but that's kind of what I need to do here. If I need to reference anything, I'll just reference it from the... Yeah, I'll just reference anything from like just the GitHub website if I do need to reference anything. Because usually I keep stuff around to be able to locally reference it, but I'm like, wait, I'm working with source control. I don't need to do any of that. So next we will do cargo. Is it possible to do this in an existing directory? So it would be cargo init. Create a new cargo manifest in the current directory. Yes, this is what we want to do. We're going to initialize cargo. Car does not go in it. Cargo room. So we want Brane script to be a library, but also an executable. It is in a volley, yes. Specifically a joke one that I made for this stream in like 30 minutes. We're going to init. Do I want this to be like a workspace. When your local appellation cryptic does some coding while waiting in the summer camp to reopen. I don't know. See, I'm just landed on Earth. We're doing some camping. Or whatever planet this is. I could publish BraneScript as a cargo package. And I might actually do that, because that sounds fun. I need to... Here, let's see. Helm. Let me look at a package that I've already done cargo workspaces in. So this is my Apple Vision Pro desktop streamer project, which you can see I have not worked on in a hot minute. I didn't realize it had been that long. Wow. But basically, there's... Okay, so that's how I handled it. I just said workspace, these members, and then... Okay. Yeah, this works. Because I want one package that is the... I want a package that's like the runtime of the library, another package that is the compiler of the library, and then an executable that is the like command line of the language for like the test command line. Instead of source here, we'll do... We need to rustify this git ignore, so let's see what the git ignore... See how horrendous this git ignore is. Leave it for libraries. Interesting. Actually, I don't need to worry about specific crate properties. Because we're making these as subfolders. And does cargo... Does cargo have a version of CMake fetch content? Or, I guess, I could use TreeSitter, my TreeSitter repo, as a package. Random question, but you're coding in VR while having VR chat or Resonate open to animate your avatar? Yep, so this is VR chat. Then I just have Steam VR overlays that are my monitors. The search engine has not learned my preferences. Nope, so this is a Quest 3. Oh, I accidentally turned on pass-through there. I would use the Vision Pro, but like it's a pain to actually, like, I can't hook up controllers to it at the moment. Because I don't have any PC, like, specific controllers. So I'd be entirely reliant on hand tracking, and Apple Vision Pro's hand tracking is, like, really not great for games. And I wouldn't even be using, like, VR chat's hand tracking. I would be using ALVR emulating index controllers. So I wouldn't even have, like, good hand tracking. It'd be emulated hand tracking. Because this is actual, like, Quest 3 over Quest Link hand tracking. It even has, like, finger splay. I don't really suffer from eye strain. Either I'm just completely cooked, like, my vision, or I'm fine. Let's see. What's it called? What is the toml file called? Is it just config toml? Yeah, it's it's Cargill toml. Specifying dependencies from Git repositories. Perfect. This is what I want. So instead of having treesitter Brane script live in a deps folder, I could put it in, take it from a Git folder. This does mean I'll have to clone it separately and then push changes specifically, like, to make any changes. Oh, that's, yeah. It's fun. There are many other rusts out there. So what does this do? Local paths must point to the exact folder with the dependencies cargo toml. Unlike with Git dependencies, cargo does not traverse local paths. For example, if regex lite and regex syntax are members of a locally cloned Rust regex repo, they have to be referred to by the full path. Okay. Is this saying either or is it saying that both could be defined in the same repository? Crates.io does not allow packages to be published with dependencies on code outside of Crates.io except for dev dependencies. So if I do want to put BraneScript on Crates.io, then I do need to avoid well, then I would just publish the treesitter package itself. Which I could do. And it's already separate repos, so that's fine. Alright, so we are going to delete this dependency. Well, something blew up. Something blew up a lot, so we're just gonna close that. And we'll do the actual restructuring without Vim open. Come on, Task Manager. There we go. Or not. I just want to make sure there's no like Vim processes that survived. Good. We'll just do our refactoring from here instead of in the actual thing. So I'm also just going to completely delete tests since I'm not currently using them. Dependencies. Oh, that's already empty. Want to keep example scripts. We don't need node modules. That's a carryover from the Docusaurus, like, documentation. The hosted GitHub pages. Don't need the build folder at all. And I'm gonna need to rewrite this. To just be like launch cargo and use code LLDB. Then I'm going to rename this C++ source. That way, deprecated. We'll have to completely rewrite the README to explain how to actually build it. And then license stays the same and everything. Okay. Going to create a new file. They're called Big Tommel, and this will be our workspace. I wonder how workspaces interact with publishing packages. We valid to have path and version entities for the same dependency. When you build locally, Cargill will use the path dependency. When you publish someone's builds package from crates.io will use the version dependency. So maybe I would be able to use the Git packages. Yeah, well, we'll just do it like this for now, because that makes sense. And I'm gonna copy this workspace. And we are going to use it anyhow. I know that, but of course, no members yet. And then we go here. And we follow these commands. So cargo, new Brane script. It's just the snake case name. Nothing too fancy, right? Now, do I want Brane script runtime and Brane script compiler? Would I want to do a separate package that's both of them combined? I would. So we would have Brane script runtime and Brane script compiler as two separate packages. There we go, we have a compiler, a runtime, a CLI, and eventually this will be expanded to also an LSP. But we don't need to define an LSP quite yet, thank goodness. Maybe also like debuggers and whatnot in the future. So we have Brane script CLI, Brane script compiler, and a Brane script runtime. Then eventually I can create a Brane script package, which complete. You know, it makes sense for there just to be the different packages. These git ignores added to them. I also didn't specify what they actually were. So did they just get turned into... yeah, they're binaries. So we'll need to turn these into lib. Wait, why is there a target in here now? Did this get... wait, I guess my LSP is running. That's why the target showed up. I was confused for a second. So to our git ignore, let's add target. I do this. Is that all target? I don't know. I guess there's no way to collapse that. Target is showing up, so that's not in the get ignore. How long have you been programming in Rust? I would say maybe a year and a half. Maybe slightly longer than that. I'm not quite sure, actually. I will say I've been programming in C++ longer, but Rust is a lot easier. And right now what we're doing is we're converting my current C++ project of like a scripting language I'm working on for a game engine that I'm also working on. And we're converting it over to Rust because I was already essentially writing it in Rust style C++. And then like some people in my chat yesterday were like, hey, so you know that like one excuse you've had for like not writing this in Rust? Well, that library actually does exist. You can in fact write this in Rust, and it will be a much better experience. And I was like, dang it! I have to rewrite it in Rust now. So that's what we're doing. I got a ping. What happened? Did Fia actually post? She did, let's go! I'm probably in that video. You can see that C++ requires some manual handling of memory, while Rust does make it easier. You see, that's the thing. I was coding C++ in Rust style. I wasn't doing any manual memory management. That's C you're thinking of. C++ hasn't had manual memory management ever since they added unique pointers. And you should be using the unique pointers in C++, or if you don't like them, creating your own wrapper for them. I have to do the Google search. Oh, so you literally just say that, and then it should work. Yeah, it doesn't have the little get star next to it anymore. So it is. I was overcomplicating things. You know, it'd be really fun. Live stream reaction to the Fia video that just got posted. That I helped film parts of.
VR chat is packed with amazing content, and in this video,
Reaction stream.
I want to show you some of the best worlds this game has to offer.
We've done our best worlds list videos before on this channel, but we're back in 2025 for an updated list of our new favorite spots.
This list features both well-known hotspots as well as a selection of slept-on places that aren't usually in
If you see that green volley, that is me.
Whether you're a newbie or a veteran alike, I can guarantee you'll find something new for your favorites list.
And, of course, we'll be color-coding the names based on whether the world is Quest-compatible or PC only. So let us know which worlds you
Oh, this is a 20-minute video.
Especially if there's anything you think we missed, maybe we'll cover it next time. But without further ado, let's get started.
It's my YouTube chat. Oh, wait a second. Was my YouTube chat in this window? It was not.
Chill and fun spots to meet up with friends, both new and old. My first pick is Avenue Pub, because I somehow always end up here with my friends every time I'm online. Tucked
This
into
was a
the
cool
inner
world.
alleyway, you'll
Oh
find
look,
this
there's me.
realistically styled bar filled with games, interactive drinks, and a stage setup that's practically
You
begging
can
for
even
you
like
to run up
pour
and
the
see
drinks
your
and
heart
stuff.
out.
It's pretty
Although
fun.
there's plenty of comfy quarters to camp out in, you're never too far from the rest
Where
of the group,
is
making
my
it my
YouTube
top spot
chat?
for medium-sized group
Did I
gatherings.
just nuke it?
I am a
Oh,
Y2K
there it is.
baby, Gen Z where ya at, so I fell in love with the bedazzled Y2K dream house immediately. The bedroom is decked out in pink.
I didn't
the
see
living
that
room
world.
is decorated in
It is a
2000s
little
movie
bit too
posters,
pink for
and
my
there's
liking.
a huge pool with water physics topped off
That is
with
cool,
a
though.
slide, so there's plenty of glammed out space for everyone. The world is also a collab with a popular avatar creator Zenpia, so as a bonus, there's a selection of cute clonable avatars that are, as the kids say, absolutely serving. Anyways, my last pick for Hangout Worlds is Bandit's Barcade. I am so obsessed with this place. The vibe
That
is
was a
somewhat like
really
a
cool
90s
world.
themed Dave and Buster's,
That
with
was a
themes
really
around
cool
anime
world.
and video games, while also being
I
kind of
definitely
Cyberpunk
recommend going to that
futuristic
world.
that also
My gun
incorporates
was broken in that
meme
shot.
culture
That's why I
posting.
wasn't shooting.
So
I was out of
basically,
ammo.
it's just great. All the games are 100% functional, and there's a room in the back with a massive immersive video player, so 10 out of 10 hangout spot for sure.
Now,
I didn't
if
try out the
arcade
immersive
games
video
aren't your
player.
fancy, but you still want
I
something
wanted
to
to
play
do that.
well in a hangout world, check out Pool Parlor. Including multiple pool rooms, a leaderboard, the decor is immaculate, and of course the pool tables are great as well. And to top it all off, there's even a chill bedroom in the back that has some surprisingly good vibes. But if you really want to capture the feeling of renting an overpriced Airbnb on the lakefront
Do
with a group
quick.
of friends, I don't think anything beats Tranquil Waters Retreat. You got the dockside hangout, a great balcony, a hot
Another one I
So
helped
just
film.
on the flip side of
Well,
flying
this
metal
is
beasts and
didn't help
explosions, I'd
film
also
that one. I
recommend
actually
checking
didn't
out
take
Horse
any
Canyon, where
footage
you can
on
travel back in
that
time
world.
to a western frontier landscape. Horse Canyon has a pretty massive map to explore, and you do most
This
of that
was a
on
fun world.
horseback. And it's actually pretty nice to just gallop around and talk with friends, or get to the highest peak and fly down on your horse, whatever suits your fancy. But taking off from Earth, as a massive science fiction and science non-fiction fan, Generations Project Rama has
Okay, I
not
need to
only
try
one of my
out
favorite worlds on
whichever
this
one
list,
this is.
but favorite VR chat worlds of all time. What starts out as a zero-gravity space station corridor exploration ends in a full-sized 2001: A Space Odyssey style artificial gravity structure that is fully navigable. And between the
That is
environment
really
and
cool.
bountiful
I'm going to check that out
optimization,
later.
This whole place is a true treat. And so, especially if you just like
Alright, I
space
need to
stuff,
watch this
it's an
entire
absolute
video later.
must-go. If you want to stay a bit more
But let's get back to
grounded, however,
coding.
you can always check out Outer Skates. A
My reaction
nostalgic trip
is
back to a time
a good
when you could
video,
buy a drink, slice a pizza,
because
and
I'm in it.
popcorn for less than $2, and the carpet had way more personality. This
And people hanging out in arcades, on computers at cyber cafes, libraries, on computers at home, in arcades, on VR headsets. Indeed, it is full circle. This was a fun world too.
Body tracking compatible roller rink, and it's awesome. It's also
I never got
surprisingly
the
immersive.
actual rolling rink working because I don't have
Seeing the world
I don't have
move
full body
while
tracking right now,
skating feels weirdly
so I
convincing.
wasn't able to
In
actually
general, it's a pretty cool
like
experience
skate.
and will undoubtedly get you into that nostalgic roller rink mood. And speaking of nostalgia or blast from the past, you have got to check out Neo Worlds. Probably
Oh,
one of
this
the
was
coolest
a really
things
cool
I have
one.
ever seen with
See,
VR.
now I'm getting
Neo
see
Worlds is
now
an
I'm getting
incredibly clever
sidetracked.
world that, I guess to put simply, is if VR chat was made in the early 2000s but was yanked forward in time so that you're playing
This is
Neo
a
Worlds with
really
VR
fun
chat
world.
as VR chat. Yeah, I don't know. It's all pretty meta, and I don't mean that meta, I mean like the cool kind of meta. Again, it's just one of the coolest things I've seen on the platform, and it's more than worth your time. Yet
So
another
this
to
world
join
was
my
strangely
all-time favorites
immersive.
list.
Like
If wandering aimlessly around large,
like
elaborate
very
worlds
strangely
with high levels of
immersive.
detail
Alright, I'm
fit
actually gonna
your
get back to
style,
coding
then
now.
you'll enjoy.
We're actually gonna get back to coding. Back to music. Alright, now that I have the ignoring build targets. So the runtime needs a librs. And then the CLI can be main. That's fine. We will keep it like that. Now let's update our run configs. Updated. Okay, no, we actually do need to update these, but we set no pre-launch task. And then the program that we want to run here, let's do, this is going to called CLI, well, CLI debug and release does work. So workspace folder, this needs to be Brane script CLI. Then actually, we want the current working directory to be Brane script CLI. We want the program to be Argo, and we want the args to be run. See the args for cargo run. See, so it's run options and then args. Options are, I guess, if you want to run release, if you want to run release, you would just build and then run release. That's probably the days of Club Penguin Gaia Online, tugging at the corners of your mind, giving that immersive feeling. See, that's the thing, I never played Club Penguin or Gaia. I did play Webkins, which was similar, but Webkins was a lot higher, I don't know. Couldn't you delete that whole section with some Vim motions? Maybe, but I don't know them. Let's see. I could do jobs. Defaults to number of CPUs. Okay, no. Package, flag, Bose, quiet. I do run release, or is that the default? See, profile, release profile. Okay, so this makes it release. And then you can put double dashes for arguments. And I could put in, if the debug information isn't working out, we do need to do target. I don't know why that isn't here. Oh, here's the target triple. Oh, there's release. I'm just blind. So, cargo, console, integrated terminal, current working directory, integrated terminal, workspace folder, Brane script, CLI, args, and then run, and then do that, so the next arguments are being passed into Brane script itself, because we want to pass in our Brane script folder. Let's put in workspace folder here, that way it is an absolute path and we don't have to worry about working directories. And then we will copy all of this over to here. And then before the argument passing thing, we want to do release. And I'm going to do the longer flag just so it's more like clear what's going on there. And let's see if that works. All right, no task buffer. So there we go. There's our hello world right there. First try. I'm actually pretty proud of that. Let's see if we can throw a breakpoint on here and if it actually catches. It does not catch. Rust users have pointed out that debugging tests and benchmarks in cargo-based projects is somewhat difficult since the names of the output test binaries generated by cargo is non-deterministic. To address this problem, could LDDB can query cargo for a list of its compilation outputs in order to use this feature. Replace program property in your launch configuration with cargo. Interesting. I wonder... So instead of program, we do cargo. Keep the same current working directory. And the args are passed to cargo build. I wonder... Wait. Can I just do args again outside of cargo? And then have that be like that. See if that works correctly. The program attribute is required for launch. So that doesn't work. This is the executable. I wonder if we probably just need to split this back out into a two-part process. So instead of debugging cargo, we just do program is still Brane script CLI target debug, and then Brane script CLI. We don't need to put an extension on there, it can figure it out. But then we do need to do a pre-launch task, which is cargo build debug. So now we have to go define that. And I'm going to copy what I had before, which I'm sure I have Brane script here somewhere. Well, this would actually be cargo build CLI. And the command would be actually there is binding for this. Workspace root Brane script CLI. There we go. And let's create another one of these for release. I was really hoping that I could just run it with cargo run and it would just work, because I think that's how like JetBrains had it set up, or at least that's how they made it appear that it was set up. And I may need to switch this to the GDB pipeline eventually, that way debug info might work better that way, since I think Rust decorators work best on the GDB pipe, like build target. But anyways, back to launch JSON, we need to change this to CLI. And now our args are simply just this. And I'll test it out before. Cargo build CLI debug, could not find template. The cargo build CLI bug. Cargo build CLI debug release. So there's our build task. This version of LLDB has no plugin for the language Rust. Oof. That's oof. Not find LLDB data formaters. If you're in your Rust toolchain, consider installing this target, which I believe I have. But is it? Oh, hey, the breakpoint worked. Is it this version of LLDB has no plugin for the language Rust. Inspection of frame variables will be limited. Okay. So I'm going to create just a very deeply nested something or other. I'm going to say this is an option for an anyhow result for a string. Actually, it might be capital string? I guess I didn't add anyhow to the cargo config. And I think that will import it from the workspace. Oh. Undeclared, create our module anyhow. Wait, do I have to build from the workspace? Here's the rand, and now we can use rand. I'm building the whole workspace by running cargo build in the add directory. Bring in and compile the rand crate. We'll get one wording because we aren't. I guess I can do what I was doing before, which is instead of building one target specifically, we'll just go tasks and current working directory, we'll just set that to workspace directory, and then cargo build will build the entire workspace instead of just our executable. And that way it would be actually using the workspace, I believe is the problem. Is that we're not building through the workspace. Do not find cargo toml in git brain script. Oh, I called it config toml. Okay, that would be why. Cargo. That's not great anyhow. But this seems to be not complaining anymore. So it's still actually complaining about that. Come on, the compiler or the LSP is able to figure it out. Use of undeclared crate or module anyhow. Function main is never used. It's a binary. It doesn't matter. Oh wait, for the compiler, those are libraries. Range gives compiler. Wait, is this? Oh, this is the CLI. CLI source main RS, unused result, anyhow, result. Let me get a better, well actually, this will have it. So there's our workspace. Oh, it's workspace dot dependencies, but I copied it, so that did get carried over. So we go to transport cargo. I should have anyhow dot workspace equals true. That is how you define it. So if I go in here, cargo toml, wait, that's CLI. Wait, how did... I thought I added it. Apparently I didn't. Expected string found stir. Yep. I want... Dang it, this LSP isn't running cargo clippy. So I do have cargo in here, right? Yeah, Rust Analyzer. There's Rust format, but I'm already formatting stuff. Hello, you got here just as I'm like setting stuff up. Also, how do you like the avatar? What do I want to check? Nvim use cargo check as LSP. Right now I'm trying to tell it to actually run like a full cargo check. Oh, I bet here. I'm gonna go into the Vim config. Not nvim dap. Would it be nvim dap? No, it wouldn't be nvim dap. It would be Mason. Mason LSP config. We need the document for mapping. Rust Analyzer. When I do Rust, well, LSP config setup, then after ensure installed, do Mason LSP config Rust user And I need to figure out how to get this to, like, actually error check stuff, or else coding with Rust will be unbearable. I'll have to compile it every 2 seconds to actually be able to work with it. Rust analyzer. Because, like, syntax checking for it is working. I got text. Group text, so it probably doesn't matter. Analyzer. There's also Rust tools. Fantastic plugin to set up Rust Analyzer with NeoVim's LSP. Access to card commands. I have Rust format on save. Already have that. Actually, I don't think I have Tamil language support. So it does run cargo check. If I write that and then restart this, failed to run config, attempt to index define Rust analyzer and nil value. Even though I spelled this the exact same, didn't I? So if I call Mason LSP config setup and I do settings, would that work? Look, it's using Rust Analyzer. We're installed automatic installation and handlers. I guess setup handlers is what I would want to do here. It is funny how Rust Analyzer is their example for all of these. So I'm going to just copy this snippet here. And this is optional, so we don't need to actually do that. So let's see, is Rust Analyzer installed? Like if I did... No, Rust Analyzer does not help. Do... I mean, this might work, so let's try it. Module Rust tools not found. So wait, do I need to install Rust tools? Is that something? No, this looks like it's a new plugin that I have to install. Starting with Rust, NeoVim's built-in LSP client API, or it's probably enough for you. It provides the lowest common denominator. Yes, this is me. This will be installed by Mason. So this doesn't... Weird that it asks for Rust tools on startup. Module Rust tools not found. Package preload. Oh, require Rust tools setup is what this is doing. So that's literally on me. So what if I don't set any of these? Also, don't expect Rust analyzer. And in here, put another one, which is Rust base. Stacia. Then we just need to return this little bit here. That should give us that. Cool, we have Rustacia now. So now if I go to BraneScript CLI, main RS, oh, I had a pop-up about potential conflicts. And I'm still getting syntax highlighting. Ooh. I actually have error checking now. Let's go. If I just do into, that should fix it, right? All of this is snippet. Mismatched closing delimiter, yep. Oh wait, what was that? He added another run configuration. Ah. Okay, but we ran, and we didn't hit a breakpoint, so... And there is a PDB file in here, so this should be debuggable. This is running at BraneScript CLI exe. With this test bscript. Maybe because the working directory isn't the build directory? If it does need to be the build directory, that's inconvenient. Is there a cargo install command? I do need step through debugging, so this needs to work. Though I'm scared to switch to a GDB target because I don't know if LVM sys in particular will build. So let's... Well, I mean, we can just see if LLVM sys builds on the GDB target. That's an easy thing to check. If I go to tasks.json, put in here build target GCC. That built. What if I build, like, delete that and then rebuild it again? Maybe it doesn't exist. I just reran the build. I'll delete target. I guess it was like the cache or something that was messing up. Or maybe I need to delete target in the root directory. Oh, interesting. It wasn't getting built in the target directory of the actual module. It was getting built in the workspace root. Okay. So GDB might actually work for the non-GNU target. if I just have this run from inside of this target directory instead. Yeah, it does. And let's see how debuggable this is. So the decorators definitely aren't working, but I can see the different values. But it doesn't tell me which one. So let's try out the GDB variant. The DVD variant. I cannot speak. We'll remove that target, go to tasks. Add that back in. And then we're going to add that to our little path here. And we do pause. And it still does variance. I guess does it have, yeah, option. I think it's append, right? No, it's push. So is vector pretty printed? No. No, it's not pretty printed. So they are saying code LLDB. So they use code LLDB and CPP tools. LLDB VS Code. This looks like a Linux configuration, though. Even DAP for other languages. Yeah, they're using LLDB VS Code here, which doesn't work great on Windows. Formatters were a part of code LLDB until 1.11, at which point they were deliberately replicated, replaced with the formatters distributed by Rust itself to decrease the maintenance burden on code LLDB. Rust did not include LLDB and GDB formatters with the MSVC distributions for some reason. As of this PR, that is no longer the case. While formatters exist in the MSVC distributions, they still don't function very well. This is actively being worked on by myself and a few others. In the meantime, they're just Python scripts, so they can be altered, copied, and replaced to improve their functionality locality. Hello, how goes it? We're currently just trying to get the dev environment for Rust set up. So this was, oh, this was merged like, how long ago? 2 weeks ago? Yeah, this was merged 2 weeks ago. Have I upgraded Rust? Yep. And it's upgraded. For this specific stream. So if these like formatters literally got up like merged in, add MSV synthetics and summary providers to LLDB. Like this literally got merged 2 weeks ago. So hopefully after this finishes updating, we will actually have formatters. Maybe, maybe not. I won't confirm or deny anything. Oh, and that's done. The stable PC Windows MSVC was updated. And this was MSVC, so I'm going to switch our launch config back to the MSVC version. And if we aren't getting like detailed info about the variables, then like it's not exactly worth using GDB when it possibly won't work with stuff. Well, int for start and test vector length 5. I mean, it's able to tell it as length 5. But can I see any of the actual values in here? No. I wonder, by the way, do you ever plan like VR chat meetup? I do on occasion. For supporters, but for all followers. I don't have anything planned at the moment. I really want to wait to do meetups until there's like actually something to meet up in, or that it's like a lot closer to actually being ready. I get this to load formatters. So what if I go here, cd, target, debug, do LLDB, file, Brane, script, CLI, cool. Now if I do breakpoint set main rs, and then let's try line 9. That runs. Ah. That's alright. Like, it's all working. Like, this is technically debug information, but I can't actually tell what's going on. And like, I've had the same problem. On the formatting section, it says enum suffix tense. Here we go. Formatting. Display format. I feel like I've read this 10 times already. Alright. Thank you for checking in. Good LLDB will attempt to locate and load LLDB data formatters provided by the Rust toolchain. By default, the configure toolchain of your workspace root will be used. However, this can be overridden via these configuration settings. To enable this feature, add source languages Rust into your launch configuration. Oh. Loading Rust formatters from Rust Up Toolchain's stable Windows MSVC. So, error. And then this still doesn't do anything. Invalid value object. Error. But it did work. I wonder if this is all I had to do to get my C++ working. Like, if I did source languages and then C++, would that suddenly make it work better? But, like, test_vec should totally be working here. Maybe I just need to use it. It shouldn't be optimized at all, but why did I default to Python syntax? Ugh. Oh, we don't have any locals. This version of LLDB plugin has no plugin for the Rust language. Inspection of frame variables will be limited. Interesting. But it still did load formatters. So here is where we, once again, try out the target. This is still loading Rust formatters from the MSVC library. Hey, look at that. See how this looks. Value. Error invalid value object. And I can still look at the raw. Whatever. But at least I have variables. valid value object. Oh well, that's something I can fix with the formatters for my language. This works for now. Now, let's get back to putting this project together. So first we need to do the compiler. We're going to say Brane script compiler. And we will link to the Brane script compiler. Dang, I need a Brane script core that has all the common types, don't I? We'll cargo create Brane script core. This will be a lib. Not create. New. And it added it as a workspace. Member, nice. The compiler and runtime are going to be independent of each other. This is important because we don't want there to be Brane script compiler on the on like the client, for example. So now Brane script runtime will depend on Brane script core and Brane script core will have a module called IR. And this will be the module that contains our intermediate representation for our language. So let's split this vertically and bring up a reference of our current intermediate representation. And all of this is going into an enum. Actually, this already is a module. So let's figure out, yeah, hub struct IR module. Do I want to keep the prefixes? I think I do keep the prefixes. We have a string, we have structs. This is going to be a vector of functions. Well, it's not included anywhere, so we will include it in... no. No tests for now, we'll add those in back later. Just do hub use IR. Hub mod IR. You have to include vectors? I can't remember. Public structure IR function. I don't think I'm doing local vars anymore. We have an enum ID ref where it can be name or an index. And I think I can just copy this, to be honest. And there we go, there's all our native types. Then IR type is between native. There's a IR native type and a struct ID ref. Like, look at how much smaller the definitions, or more like readable the definitions for all of this is. It's not necessarily smaller definitions yet, but it will be a lot smaller. Or rather, less verbose to use. And now all of this is when it's going to get a lot smaller, a lot better. So I'm just gonna call this IR opt. And now since they're all namespaced in there, I don't have to prefix the actual names of the things. And I think you can define structs directly in enum. Yes, like this. I just needed to look up the syntax of it, because I know I had done it before. So we can define every single one of these directly in the enum. So we can say const i32, and then curly braces, and then value, which is an i32. And that's just a member of the enum. Then we can do const u32, which is literally the exact same. Do const f32. And then I'm getting rid of the move op, so it's just only going to be load and store. Hey Jack, how goes it? So then the load op needs where it's loading the pointer from. There's an IR value. This is custom. I made it in 30 minutes before the stream started. But look at this. Isn't it awesome? Perfect for the I literally have it called Rust Volley. I literally went into GIMP, colorize so it's orange, and then pasted the crab all over it. And that is the extent of everything I did. That's why he's asking. It is. Look at this. Look at the eyes. I was confused when you didn't have a larger reaction to it. But you know, for the selling my soul to Rust stream, I thought it was very appropriate. I don't need member access. I had to tell it was a crab. Red spot just looks like you're bleeding from the head there. Yup. That was such a cursed sentence. I don't know. This is my nerd sniping avatar now, where it's like, if I need to be cringe, this is the avatar I put on. But seriously, look. See, this is why I was so easy to convince to move to Rust, because look at all these structures. This is how much I've put in, and then there's this is the Rust representation of that. It's so much better. You don't need an avatar to be cringe, my friend. I know, but it's a force multiplier. You bought a what yesterday? I'm gonna search this on the not on stream. I don't fully believe you. Okay, this looks safe for now. This looks so cursed. This is just an MMO mouse. It's just an MMO mouse. One-handed mobile keyboard up to 70 words per minute. Wait, is this like a Knuckles strap over the back of his hand? Looks like it. You're just like... That's a Vivemo right there. That's an index controller. It's an MMO... So they said, let's take an MMO mouse, smash it into a Vive index remote, and then let's call it a very sus name, and call it a day. I love it. But I also hate it. And, yeah, let me know how that goes. True. Knee. Actually, not. Logic not. I think logic not is just like an inversion. Let's see what this is called. Behind the scenes. What's some operands? There should be underneath like bit operands one that just inverts. That's shift right, shift left, XOR, and I wonder if the way that C++ does the inversion. Okay, bye. Enjoy your regularly scheduled resting. Indeed, we do be resting. I wonder if the way that C++ does the inversion is they just do an XOR on, with one side being just an array of ones, a buffer of ones. Because if you XOR a number by a bunch of ones, or XOR an array of bytes by an array of ones, then it should invert it, right? Because this is true if one of the other is true. So if both are true, it would be false. So 1 would become 0, and 0 would become 1. That might be why there isn't any actual inversion operator. Unless this is it. Negation. No, that's float. So that... that just flips the sign byte. Okay, I think I don't need a NOT operator. I just need an XOR operator. Then call, we need an ID. ID reference. Then do I need an input and an output? Yeah, this goes back to the call ref thing that I want to do. How do I want to represent calls in the intermediate representation if I'm passing arguments on the stack? If I'm passing arguments on the stack, do I even want to force the bytecode to tell me well, I'm not doing the rest of this as a stack machine. It doesn't make sense to do that. Only that as a stack machine. Because this isn't a stack machine anymore. It's SSA form with implicit indices. SSA form with implicit indices. Do I want to pass in a pointer explicitly? Have it pass in a pointer. Like, do input IR value. And then when it returns, do I want it to return a pointer to the output, which would be on the stack? Or would I want to manually pass a pointer to where I wanted to put the output? Like, just make explicit what is implicit, but not in the intermediate representation. Give people a way to actually access what these two pointers are, and that's handled on the back end by the system. This is the easiest way to do it, I think. If I do next stage, and I do args, I also do dependencies. But yeah, look at how much more concise that is than this. Like, it's... Does this tell me how many lines are... I think it does. Yeah. 162 lines of code versus 75. That's why I think that switching to Rust is faster than, like, continuing to write in C++. And not only will this be conciser to define, it will be conciser to work with as well, because I don't have to write out a lambda definition for every single element in the match statement. Instead, I can just use Rust match formatting. And you're like, oh, why are you doing it like this in C++? This is like how you would do it in Rust. Of course it's easier to do in Rust. And I'm like, because I don't want to have to do a giant if-else statement that's trying to cast a, like, pointer a ton of times. Like, the C++ version of this is not ergonomic. Like, it just... ASTs work really, really, really well with Rust enumerators. Rust enums. And I know there are people who complain about how verbose Rust is, but to be, I think the majority of those people are, I'm not gonna lie, I think the majority of the people who say that come from, like, web languages. Because if you've ever worked with, just literally, I think it's IR type not showing up. Because for me, Rust actually is easier to write than a lot of C++ stuff. So we have IR type here. This is a public enum. Exactly, like, I can look at the code and know exactly what's going on, but they actually have a lot of ergonomic things, like, you know, blocks can return values, and that makes well, in coding language terms, there's this term expression versus statement, and statements can't return values, but expressions, all expressions do. And every single statement in Rust is also an expression. So you can chain everything together, you don't have to redefine stuff. There's a lot of ergonomics in Rust that I find lacking in a lot of other languages. And yeah, it makes it hard to... Oh, it's because it's type. Escape type. You use it as an identifier. Ah, right, because they don't like that. I wonder, can I? There's nothing to do. You do raw identifiers by prefixing the keyword with R and then sharp. Okay, and here we can do IR struct. We can do IR function. Then we also need, actually I haven't finished with, we're gonna do function and then pipeline. So we don't need local variables anymore. I might create an alloc command. Because I know that I'm going to be allocating. So these refer to structures. Then we have our operations, which is vec ir op. I forgot to make these public. IR pipeline. I might do Lambda pipelines in the future if I get like super crazy with it, but for now, that doesn't make much sense. And then the stages of this pipeline are defined as ID refs to functions. And there we go. That is our intermediate representation as we need it now defined. If I need new operations, it's significantly easier to mess around with that. I just literally add them to this list, and I don't have to do the thing where I create a structure and then add it to the variant and remember to do the two between them. No, it just works. next up on the list of things to do is we need to get, I did kind of jump the gun to do this one because this is the easy one. This is the one that I really wanted to do. Field 0 is never read. That's because it's exported. So Brane script core, it's the intermediate representation. Actually, it might not make sense for there to be a Brane script core, because Brane script compiler, I want to do macros, like Rust style macros in Brane script, and for that we require running code at compile time. So we're going to need to link to Brane script runtime from Brane script compiler. So now intermediate representation is part of that. I'm going to delete Brane script core. Oop. Vim really doesn't like deleting stuff right now. So we no longer have Brane script core. We're going to go into cargo toml and we're going to rip out Brane script core. Brane script runtime is now the base package that all the others rely on. So Brane script CLI will rely on Brane script compiler, which will rely on Brane script runtime. The Brane script runtime now has IR and that mod RS, so we're going to do hub mod IR like that, and that should import IR for use elsewhere. So now we'll be able to, in Brane script compiler, if we include Brane script runtime, like so, build a load manifest for dependency, Brane script compiler. Build the load Brane script core. Oh, wait a second. Do I still have Brane script core underneath one of these cargo tomls? I do. Just delete that, and that should stop that pop-up. Thank you, pop-up. Now, Brane script CLI. Brane script compiler. Compilers depending on runtime. Cool. We have our chain of dependencies. The Brane script compiler. What do we convert? First, so if I go to my C++ source, we have a parser and compiler. I think the parser... Ooh, do I want the... Well, if I do make an LSP, it will depend upon the compiler, because I will want to do the same amount of validations as the compiler does, so it doesn't necessarily make sense to split apart the parser and compiler binaries. Looking at compiler CPP, we have this compiler, and the thing that it's most in charge of is document context. Document context is the core of our parsing pipeline. All of these different structures. This means, well, first of all, let's get TypeScript included, because I believe text context relies on PS range, which is TypeScript. Not TypeScript. TreeSetter. TypeScript is not touching the project, aside from the grammar file. So that means for BraneScript runtime, not BraneScript runtime, for BraneScript compiler, we need to add in a dependency that is TreeSetter and TreeSetter BraneScript. Dang it, I could have used a REST-based parser. But TreeSetter is fine because it allows like other people to create parsers for the language super easily, I think. Even though I am going to write like an entire LSP for this language as well, so you don't necessarily need to write your own parsers because there's the open source language server project, which if it's bad, just pull request it, make it better. You don't need to build your own project. You can just make the official thing better. Rust sitter. Efficient parsers in Rust by parser generator with Rust sitter. You can define your entire grammar with annotations on idiomatic Rust code. Let macros generate the parser and type safe bindings for you. Huh? So this is like a Rust wrapping around the TreeSetter grammar. But this is the official library, so we're going to use this. Rust bindings to the TreeSetter parsing library. Question is, how well does this work with like languages, other languages? because I'm hoping it will actually be type safe. We'll add tree sitter, and we'll also add tree sitter Brane script, which is at a repo in Brane Reality. And I think you can just say git. Then let me check what the package is actually called in here. It's called TreeSitter Brane script. So theoretically, I now have access to my own parser. Just like that. Wonder where I should put document context. Just put it right here for now. And let's just copy I guess text context ends up becoming a trait. Way to pass in arc self. So I guess we'll just do arc self always. Yep, architect. That is what I'm thinking. But right now I'm trying to figure out how to do this pattern where I was able to get, like, I always had to instantiate these as a shared pointer. But then I was able to, from the object itself, get the pointer to itself. So you can do shared from this, and then I cast it to its own type, and then, yeah. Lots of fun stuff with, like, getting the pointer to yourself. The shared this pointer, which I think I can get around by doing this, by doing arc like that. That might mean that, yeah, it might end up needing to be an arc mutex. Because if I remember correctly, arcs are immutable by default. Like, their interior is immutable. Which makes it hard to do stuff on them. I guess then you just do ref cell. I guess that depends. How multi-threaded do I want code that accesses document context to be? Because theoretically, I do want it to be pretty document, like pretty multi-threadable, like but it doesn't need to be multi-threadable. It's a problem because it's a... Wait, actually... Do I need... There are a few places. There are a few places where I do use the actual shared pointer part of this, but I might not actually need to make this entire tree structure use nodes, because I'm no longer am doing the thing where... Well, I do have lookup functions. Right. Just giant, like, tree data structure. And those are notoriously a little bit hard in Rust. Though not harder than in other languages. Because Rust is the only one that forces you to do it correctly. Oh no! My parent pointer isn't supposed to be a strong reference? I'm just wondering how well this search for operation will work. Because I will need to be able to return references to nodes. Is it possible to walk a well, actually, there are places where I do use the shared reference ability of stuff. Instead of returning references, you might want to just return indices into a data structure instead. maybe, but see, what I'm thinking of is like being able to search for things. Maybe, well, if I don't do a recursive search for, if I don't include this search for in the text nodes themselves, and instead make it an iterator over an existing like document context, then I don't have to worry about that as much. If I just make like a utility function that's like, yeah, because I'm thinking in terms of come on, Brane. Work with me here. I'm thinking about this the same way that I would think about it in like an object-oriented language. But yeah, we'll look at the pet graph thing. This is probably more powerful than I need by a lot. Because I'm fine with every operation on this being single-threaded. So I just need to figure out a way to do this. This looks a little bit too not statically typed enough. I'll just go with, I do like the idea of not using arc references. Like, completely removing the only reason I had this as arc, in a lot of cases, was, well, it was because I thought I wanted to, like, reference stuff. But I don't... Well, no. I carried it over from the old system, where this was, like... The way that I would do, like, expression context node was instead of a variant, this would be a base class pointer. And then I would try casting that, either downcasting or upcasting that. I think it's upcasting that to whichever one of the actual structures it was. And to do that, of course, it has to be a pointer. So... Well, I still... I still might have to do it that way. Because an enum probably doesn't want to recursively store itself. So there has to be like a break in that chain there. Because like an enum has to be the size of its largest element, right? And if an enum can contain itself, then its largest element is infinity. Yeah, box enum. If you... When you clone a box, Does it just give you another box instead of a reference to the same thing? It gives you a new thing? Perfect. I can work with this. Right, because that's the old point of arc. Alright, so I will have a... text context rate. Because I want to enforce that every single node has a range. A range, a source, and a parent. For now, we'll have URI be a string for now. And then maybe I want to make text context be... Well, I want all of these to have common variables, but I might have text context as a member of each one of these instead of being something it inherits from. Okay, yeah, so we'll have range, which is from using or use. That's right, I don't have any completions. I'm gonna add Rust Analyzer back into the list of Mason configs because I think that does give me completions on functions. This range will be... This does have tree sitter. Right. Here, I'm going to save the workspace. Exit out. Restart, and hopefully I have function completions. And I do have completions now. Let's go. But what is all this syntax error expected in an item? Looks like that might be a Rust tools problem. You gotta say enum. Oh! I'm stupid. Oh, that will probably update eventually. But... it's because it's running cargo check on everything, I think. So now I have text context. Let's see. Document context identifier. What was going on over there? Derive partial equal and full equal there. Ah, it's so nice to just be able to do that. I need to do that for identifier as well. We need a scoped identifier, which I defined base type. You can define stuff out of order in Rust, right? Because it actually uses a multipass modern compiler. We go scoped identifier. I can do scopes vec scope segment. And scope segment is going to be and this will also be like traits with types in the future. Like trait implementations. So that's why I'm leaving up the possibility that there could be other scope segments there. I'm gonna try reopening that buffer. Hopefully it... Nope. Script identifier and then modifiers. After type context, we have value context. And then value context will contain label, which is of type option identifier. Let's have hub type option type context. Oh, right. I don't need to worry about template definitions yet. I'm just going to completely ignore them. I'm also going to ignore error contexts. Expression contexts, though, I do need to define those at some point. I think at the very beginning of the file here, either at the very beginning or very end, I need to put the enum that contains all of them. All of them. Or do I? I guess for find operations, yes. We do need to have, like, identifiable, which could return anything that's identifiable. I'll just have a public enum expression. Call it expression context. And this will contain scope. Will be a scope context that I haven't defined yet. Okay, fine. I will define this after defining the actual expressions. Find value, and this will be a value context. Local variables. Have that be value context. Maybe this define value should be an index into the scope context. Define variables. I don't know. I'll decide later. I'm still getting reused to the pattern of writing stuff for Rust. Getting through this pretty quickly. We'll see how long actually implementing behavior takes, though. Because it's not going to be a straight copy-paste. I am going to try to design it a little bit better. Pulsig context, pipeline, stage context. That needs a call sig. See, the thing I like about having this not be a bunch of shared pointers is that I can do deep copies super easy on it, which is something that I do in parts of the pipeline. Or it would be good to do in parts of the pipeline, but I don't right now. Instead I do this weird, like, edit the source from the compiler thing, which is not great. If context, we don't need to define if context yet. I haven't even defined the grammar for it yet. I shouldn't have stretched like that. Ah. So I'm gonna ignore control flow for now. And just move on with my day to other ones. But instead of being like super big and like L value, R value, and being like, oh, I'm fancy because I'm using the fancy terms, instead we're just gonna be like, nah, the destination, which is an expression context, and the source. There's another expression context. And then we'll have a constant value. We'll have a const value here, and this will just be Boolean char. I think is just U8, right? Like there's no char type in Rust, it's just U8. Or is there? There's C-char. Yeah, I think it's just U8. Oh, this is kind of funny. My bytecode only has 32-bit constants, whereas my implementation of document context only has 64-bit constants, which I actually think makes sense for the document context. Just have it be big by default. Const value context, but value will be a const value. Yes. It's significantly more ergonomic in a lot of ways for what I'm doing. Less ergonomic for others. We'll see how it pans out. We'll see how quickly I'm able to actually get this working. I might see if I can just all-nighter get this, like, fully working, to be honest. Just so that I can, like, get it out of my head. Like, I need to move on. I need to do stuff for my other job. Like, I just need this working. So the rewrite needs to not take very long at all. An interpreter? No, it's JIT compiled. We're compiling this down to an intermediate representation, which is kind of, I would say, SSA format. And then we convert that to LLVM bytecode, and then we use LLVM to JIT. So, very fast. Should be very fast. Oh, I just have it as a string. Not actually using identifier context or anything. Okay. We're labeled value reference. We have member access context. Once I made an emulator for a fantasy CPU using Rust, so I can confirm that it's good for that sort of thing. If you categorize it similar anyway. Yeah, it's really, really good for abstract syntax trees. Basically anything where, like, one node is referencing another category of node. Rust enums are so nice, man. Every other language should use them. Member, let's do... I could just do usize there and be done with it. I think U32 makes more sense for now. Now usize is actually fine. Closest we get to is a discriminated union is inheritance and runtime type checking. Yeah, that's how it was in C++ the first time I made, like, BraneScript 1.0. And for this iteration of BraneScript, the C++ version was using standard variant, which, as far as I can tell, is the same thing as a Rust variant, but the ergonomics of using it are, like, pretty bad. Like, the standard visit call, which is the equivalent of a match statement, I have to write a full lambda for every statement, and like the C++ lambda syntax is very verbose. So we're on member access context, which is here. Oh, we're like halfway through the tunnel. I guess I see light. Or when Dino Run 2 is done, we could switch over to Rust plus Bevy. Keep wanting Rust features. Dino Run 2? Is this for one of your projects? Or is Dino Run 2 a thing in Bevy? Is done in C++ or C# plus Unity. It's a Pixel Jam project. Same studio that made the first one. Well, where was I wanted to won't be staying long, but I just wanted to drop through and say I'm working on a game in Godot that takes you from understanding how the atom works to building your own compiler. Just based on your idea a few months back, I think your ideas could mesh well. Would love to collab. Like, I'm down to consult on, like, how a compiler actually works. If that's what you mean. It's like, send me a DM in Discord. Reference context. Wait a second, why am I doing create reference and dereference context when I already have ref and deref in unary operator? Be gone. Will do. I was thinking it may or may not be a good test case for your engine. Maybe not, but I thought I'd let you know. Ooh, that could be fun. I guess the biggest thing is, like, how soon do you want it to be out? Because the engine is going to take a fair bit of time before it's ready. Unary. So negate bitwise not. Oh, okay, negate is negative, logic not, bitwise not. What's the difference between logic not and bitwise not? Bitwise not is the tilde key. Logic not is, logic not is, yeah. Enough, I'm hoping to move quick, but I'm definitely keeping an eye on the project and will let you know if I see things come together. Yeah, of course. It's kind of like, I don't necessarily want to speed up the project if it isn't the best thing for it. I am like trying to work as fast as I can, but I'm trying to work correctly as fast as I can. Not to say that I am taking some shortcuts here and there because I want to see it working, and then going back and fixing those. Like right now, I'm literally switching coding languages. Thus the Rust-themed avatar and Rust-themed code. I don't think it's going to slow down the project though, because what I've been doing already is essentially refactor the entire code base. So why not refactor it into another language instead of refactoring it into the same language when I think this language would work better? How's Rust been for you so far? Fought the compiler much? Definitely when I was learning. We'll see how like much I'm fighting it in this project. But yeah. So far I've gotten along with the compiler pretty well, I'd say. It's made me have some projects that like helped me build some very, very resilient projects. Specific moment where Rust clicked. I was still thinking in reference terms, and then when I looked at about how properly structured my and then when I thought about how to properly structure my data, I realized what Rust meant by ownership. Yes. Obstruct binary operator on text. Structuring code in every language. Yeah, exactly. Like you just code differently afterwards, which is why the C++ project. Well, that's why I've been refactoring most of the engine. Is like with lessons that building stuff in Rust taught me. It's like ironically. Now I'm just switching fully to Rust. It also, like, gets you in the habit of error checking everything. Where before my my error checking strategy was literally, it's not gonna crash. I'll just not crash. But now it's like, now I need to care a lot about the error checking strategy, and it's amazing. I just hate try-catch. I don't hate error checking, I hate try-catch. Like, try-catch is just not good. Wait, how does concurrency in C# mess with the error checking? I've done very limited stuff with concurrency in C#. Basically tried to avoid it as much as possible, whereas like with the Rust I fully embraced in concurrency. Async in Rust is very interesting. But like, what's going on with C# mostly is just there are more sane ways for it to break. Can't just say, yeah, but if we did it right, it's not a problem. Fair handling is how you do it right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, error checking for... Yeah. Alright, we've replayed that a lot of times. Let me see if I can get a different vibe of music here. I like this dude's stuff, and he released a compilation of all of them recently, so... More ambient sci-fi, but it's fun. You cancel a task, some tasks throw a cancellation exception, which is just normal operation. Okay. Obstruct, and then we run an unstruct type, and now we need to member init context. Which does not inherit because that's not a thing. Instead, we have it as a member. Yeah, so it's ID identifier, then pub Oh dang, I just like daydream my way into figuring out a much better way to handle like the way that I was doing parsing in this, and like, oh man, that is a much better way to do stuff that I will remember for later, because I don't know if I can truly explain what I just realized. We have an expression context. Oh, member init, and then... Come on, stay on target. We are so close to being done here. With this particular section. And let's start context members. Then, instead of this vec being member types, it's member init contexts. Because we're initializing each one of the members. we have call context. Love how Rust handles documentation. The point that on occasion I've set undocumented code to be an error that can't compile. Oh wow. I do like the way it documents. It's basically built into the language. I know C# has docfx, but docfx is unreasonably verbose and complicated, whereas like with Rust, it's just markdown, which is very nice. Can you even do mermaid diagrams? Rust doc mermaid diagram. Because if you can, I might. Oh yeah, that's right. It does work as tests. I forgot about that. Simple declarative macro to include diagrams in your Rust doc documentation. So you can do mermaid diagrams. I might have to switch over my documentation of the language into Rust doc then. Because right now I have it as Docusaurus. But I could switch it over. We'll do that later, when we actually document the language. Call context takes in a callable. And args. Which is just an anonymous structure context. And now we're finally on to the final couple contexts. Okay, and then nothing else. Oh, and then I do have trait. You can see this is a very Rust-inspired scripting language. It's almost fitting that we'll write the backend in Rust. And I'll leave these as nothings for now, because I don't actually have like actual user-defined structure support yet. It's all anonymous structs. Like, I got anonymous structs working. So, identifier. Identifier. No, not that. There we go. And then anything else? Nope.